Good afternoon, and welcome back to Three Swords Gaming as we continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. So we are in Icebrood Saga, and currently in the first chapter of Icebrood Saga, which is Bound by Blood. So it's listed here as a prologue, right? I don't know that I mean, it's the first chapter. Like, are we really hung up on calling that a prologue? I mean, I guess that's what they call it. That's fine. Whatever. Prologue. Um, and we just finished our big green bar, which actually, the participation bar, which you get from time to time with some of the Living World stores. So we finished that off. That took us a hot minute, really did. So now we're ready to continue to proceed through the story, and that's what I'd like to do today. Is kind of finish up the story related to this chapter. Now, I mentioned this when I was working on the green bar. I really like this map quite a bit. I think it's got a lot of things going for it. It doesn't these days, it's not very well populated these days because as time has gone on, there's not necessarily a lot that brings people back to this one, which is a shame because I think it is a good map. But like pretty much all Living World season maps, it doesn't necessarily have that staying power um, because Living World maps really only have a few things that are going to bring people back. One might be achievements, and that's fine, but that's limited timeline. Another would be like ascended accessories and stuff like that. But this map doesn't bring a lot of that to the table. So the best things about this map, honestly, are pretty niche. So while they're good things. Uh, they don't necessarily bring people back time and time again. Kind of a shame because it is genuinely, I think, like a very well done map. It definitely hits like the theme that they were trying to achieve, in my opinion. Okay, so let's talk to Krisha here. There's a Char celebration taking place, right? And they're celebrating the end of Kralkatorrik, and in as part of that, Flame Legion have now been brought into the fold, right? So you have the four legions, but now we have a fifth legion, the Flame Legion, and they're all in theory unified. And Bangar is like kind of leading the charge on this. But during the celebration, Areen swoops down and kind of complicates things. So we're trying to kind of put people at ease over the whole Bangar thing, or I mean over the whole Areen thing, while simultaneously looking into what else might be going on around here. And there is going to be some of that as we move forward. So let's find out more about that.
Nice work out there, Commander.
Thanks, Krisha.
People seem to be having a good time.
So far. You should still check in with the other Imperators. They should be at their respective camps. Earn their trust. That'll help smooth things over. One more thing. I've received word that General Soulkeeper is here. If you have time, check on her near the tents. She and Vanguard tend to butt heads, and I'd like to avoid another incident.
Incident, of course, being a reference to the fact that we already kind of had one with Areen. So Krisha's kind of tiptoeing around that a little bit. That's very nice of her, whatnot. All right.
If you keep your head.
I'm looking for your Imperator, if you have one.
Not yet. Not officially. All we've got is the truce we negotiated with Ruinbringer.
And who's responsible for that?
I am.
I'd say that makes you the front runner.
I hope. It took years. Centuries, actually. But here we are. Those of us who want peace. I'm Ephraim, and you must be the pack commander. The dragon gave you away.
About that.
No need. It's a new world. She's still finding her place in it. So are we. Ruinbringer demanded our cubs as proof of goodwill. Most have already been training at the Blood Legion for Ra, but...
I'm not going back there. Everyone hates me, especially the other girls.
I expected some resistance from other legions, even with Bangar's support. But I underestimated the cruelty of children.
You want me to talk to them?
Couldn't hurt. Show them kindness. From one outsider, at least.
All right. So Runebringer being Bangar, right? And yeah, so this is like conceptually a very interesting thing. They don't have the time in the story to like deep dive into it about the reintegration of the Flame Legion. but it could have been like, they could have done a lot more with it if they had the resources to do that. I think conceptually very cool. So it is interesting how they paint the Flame Legion going forward, because they paint them in like a very like, suddenly they're the most tolerant of the flavors of char, and like they're the most introspective, which is kind of a weird play, but it's a welcome change compared to most of the char. So I think people tend to swallow that without too much sugarcoating. All right, Priska, what's up here? You don't like it. You miss home. You miss lessons with just the girls. Yeah, well, change can be hard, but when a door opens, door closes, a window opens. Is that really what the commander's saying? Let's go with the second one. New friends, learn new things, until new just feels like home. I mean, that's a hard sell, but okay. I am old, which I am old. I don't have a lot of friends, but okay. Thank you for your understanding, Presco. That's cool. Flame Cub, random Flame Cub, which probably the rest of them are besides her. We used to fight Blood Legion and the others. Now they call us names. Well, there we go. So we're gonna appeal to like their sense of like wanting to be grown char, right? I like it. Cool, cool. What do we got here? I had a warband already, but then they split us up. Yeah, that's not good. Ooh, this is tough. This is a tough decision. I like that. Maybe it's Blood Legion that needs you. Ooh, oh, deep. Deep, Commander. There we go.
What do you think? Give it another go?
Okay. I'll try not to light anybody's tail on fire this time.
Thanks, Commander. Here's to making this new world better than the old one.
So Ephraim presents himself like very positively here, and that actually will continue through the story.
Hey, it's Bram. Ryland took me to the farm where they grow their hops. They're handing out free ale samples. I think I've had like 12 so far. No matter how many times I go back, they keep giving me another one. And here's number 13. Outsmarted him again, Bram.
Oh, Bram. What a guy. What a guy. Alright, let's see. Where are we headed here? Oh, good. A couple more close by. One of these should be... Yeah, there's General Soulkeeper.
I don't do rallies or concerts. Oh, Commander, sorry. Incredibly important vigil business. Very urgent, you understand.
Yeah. Are you making excuses for not participating
What was that?
socially?
Rengar's
More?
Minister of Morale wants me to make an appearance at some concert.
You don't want to celebrate?
I'm just passing through. Kralkatorik's finished, but there are 3 more Elder Dragons unaccounted for. Don't worry. We won't do anything. Yet. The Vigil has an outpost in the Shiver Peaks monitoring the Jormag situation. I'm headed there now to deliver the good news in person. I'll let you know if anything changes.
Thank you, Almora.
You're welcome. Now keep the Minister occupied so I can slip out the back.
Alright, Almora, is this like you feel a sense of duty, or is this just a sign of PTSD that you feel aversion to social situations? If that's the case, I'm sympathetic. I get it. But, have you talked to anybody about this? Alright, let's keep the Verinia Stormsander over here.
I hear about a concert.
Let's
Am I
keep
invited?
them occupied.
Well, you're not what I was hoping for, but I suppose you did help kill Kralkatorik. All right, Commander. I'll put you on the list. And try to keep your dragon on a tighter leash this time, yes? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a star to secure.
Right, so why would, Almora be the star versus us?
Commander, guess where I am. The ooze pig. All the char are punching stuff and yelling, and it's just so good. Oh, spirit. Rocks, you made my day. Pick up the pace. There's a lot more hardware to unpack.
All right, yeah. So why would Almora be the star versus us? Because she's Char, right?
Looks like you could use a hand.
If it isn't the Pact Commander, or is it Champion now? 1 minute you're killing dragons, the next you're hatching them from eggs. One of our engines broke down in transit. Renegade sabotage. Now we're all too swamped to fix it. Got some extra parts around here somewhere, assuming they didn't take those too.
Alright, you want me to gather extra parts. So there's actually an event going on here where, like, parts are being smelted and stuff. We already did that, though. We did that in order to... Oh, it looks like we're going to have to do it again. Yeah, we had to do this. We did this event to advance our green bar. Not a terrible event, I suppose. But... Oh, I have the part. And now I add it to the Iron Legion engine. Yeah. Oh, am I going to have to do that multiple times? Apparently so.
I'll break you down.
We're the Separatist Scrit? Is that what's going on here? Separatist Scrit. I like it. The next mini expansion, after the one that was just announced. So I am super excited about that, by the way. Very interesting stuff. I made a video about that, and it was actually kind of a poorly informed video. It's not a very good video, if I'm being 100% honest. You know, I had looked at the, like, the announcement that came, you know, in the client, but I had not looked at, like, the whole page for the new expansion, and I should have, because there was a lot more there that I didn't realize. You know, wow, it's they're making some bold choices. It's interesting. It's interesting
Nice
stuff.
work. Now tell me what you really want.
About the opening ceremony.
You mean the part where your dragon almost branded everybody?
She wouldn't hurt anyone. I tried telling Bangar.
Bangar. If we ever get a new Connor, it'll be someone who has the vision to really unite us.
Someone like you.
He didn't want to sign that treaty with the humans. Only caved because he couldn't afford a civil war on top of everything else. That, and he knew he'd lose.
You don't think he has the Char's best interest at heart?
He's old. So's his thinking. For someone who talks big about the future, he sure clings to the past.
But you understand that Oreen's not a threat. You're the visionary.
Wish the other Imperators could see it. With Kralkatorrik gone, might be time we all sat down and had a little chat.
Huh, I feel like Smodor's has some goals and whatnot. Oh, Bram.
It's Bram. There's a band called Metal Legion here, and some kind of fire thing. Oh, and free ale. You want to hear a secret? Char booze is really strong. I can't feel my face. Want to hear another secret? You're my best friend. Okay, bye. This is Bram, by the way. Woo!
I think Bram might have had a little bit too
The
much
other
to
legions
drink.
are pulling out all the stops, but not you.
Commander, it's an honor to meet the Dragon Slayer in the flesh. I apologize for the meager display. We're spies, not politicians. We don't put on shows.
And yet you saw fit to make an appearance in person. A busy leader like you.
You were hoping to get a feel for me. But I'm not the one you should be keeping an eye on.
You mean Oreen?
It's a new world. Exciting, but also dangerous.
You've been following me?
I knew Ash Legion wouldn't miss an opportunity for some good old-fashioned reconnaissance.
Smolder and Bangar are both vying for Connor. Then there's the small matter of Flame Legion. And your dragon.
Oreen is the least of your worries.
She's the root of them. Kralkatorrik's no longer a threat. And right now, nobody knows exactly what that means for us. We have noticed a resurgence of renegade and separatist activity, though. They're getting bolder. I don't like it.
Violent extremists trying to undermine the Ebonhawk Treaty on both sides. Great. What can I do?
Keep an ear out. I don't want to alarm Tribune Stoneglow, but at a gathering like this, you never know who or
what might crawl out of the woodwork.
Alright, let's go back and talk to Krisha. I am disappointed in Malice here.
You think you're better than us?
Oh, Bram.
Well, he is. You saw him down there. Strength of a bear. Fists like cloves. Fighting oozes is one thing. Fighting Char is another. This Norn wouldn't last 5 minutes in the pit against one of us. That a challenge? Conan who lost their teeth and claws. That's all your people are. Burless, pathetic. Come over here and say that.
Well, that doesn't sound good. We'll find out more about that here in a second. Yeah, Malice. Why does Malice, like leader of all Char espionage, not know the difference between surveillance and reconnaissance? Disappointing. What does that actually mean? No one in ArenaNet knows the difference. Krisha.
Okay, Krisha. I met with the Imperators. Nobody seems too upset.
Good. If we're lucky, this Unity celebration will go off without a hitch.
Commander, can you come get me?
Bram, where are you?
They let me make one call, and I said, I could call my best friend in the whole world. And that's you.
The brig.
My face hurts. My fists hurt. Everything hurts. Oh, you're not mad, are you? Don't be mad.
Collect your Norn, Commander. Let the guards know I approved his release.
Oh, Bram. Oh, Bram. So there is an event taking place. This is a great event.
Shiny.
I'm not going to take the time to do it right now because we're going to have to hustle to get through the rest of this story in one episode. But, well, maybe for a second. We'll do it for a second. How could we not? How could we not? How is this how does this not appear like elsewhere in, you know, in like the somewhere else in the game? How can this not appear somewhere else in the game? So much fun, so cool. Bam, got him. Oh, there's another player actually. Let's see if we can get him. Might actually be hard pressed to do so. Oh, there they are. But they stunned us. Not good. Alright. Good. Oh, we actually finished the event because there wasn't much left in it. Okay. Good times. Good times. Like go-karts with guns. And how can you go wrong with that? So between the sniper event on this map and that event, like that alone, plus the concert. We haven't seen the concert yet. Super cool. It's not like something that I think a lot of players will want to repeat, like a meta event. Like, oh, you know, I'm so glad I did this, you know, rewards and challenges and stuff. That's not what it is. But it is a fun, silly thing that definitely is worth checking out a few times. And if you get all the achievements associated with it, you do get like a...
I'm here to pick up a friend of mine, Bram Arison. Tribune Stoneglow authorized it.
Who? Oh, the Norn. He's in the first floor cell. Straight ahead.
Yeah, if you get all the achievements related to the concert, or if you get a certain number, I don't remember. I mean, I guess we can check, right? Story journal. What are we in? The prologue for... Oh, wrong way. Let's see, we shouldn't have any of them, so it should be down here. There should be a little treasure chest next to it. No, that's not it. There it is. Metal Legion Band t-shirt skin, which is actually like a 3/4 sleeve. Cool skin. Are we gonna go take the time to do it on this account? No, but it's cool.
Hey, Commander. Thanks for, coming to get me.
At least you had fun, right? Let's get you out of here.
Yeah, just let me stand up. Oh, slowly.
So he actually gave us a number. He was at 13 pints at one point, which does beat my record, even when I was young and able to do such things. So I don't know, where did he end up? You know, like 15, 16? Very impressive, Bram. Get your ass upstairs so that we can, like, sign you out or whatever we have to do. Collect your belongings. Annoying.
Hey, you didn't start any fights that I know of.
but I finished one. It's okay. I'm okay. Rylan told them what happened. I was just gonna sleep it off.
Yeah. They gave me one call thing. It's like kind of stupid. But you know, after a time, he's talking about like posting things that we did
There's the
to friends.
troublemaker.
Like,
I've never seen
you know.
someone vomit that much before. Your things are on the rack.
Go get your things, Bram. Is that Quag in yours, Bram?
Where's my bow?
Everything you had on you is in that bin. Nothing more, nothing less.
You sure? You didn't see a big curved thing with arrows?
I know what a bow is, and you didn't have one.
Oh no!
Okay, don't panic. If we retrace your steps, I'm sure we'll...
Commander, a word? Just stop some char from roughing up one of Elmora's vigil.
A lot of that going around.
Yeah, you can feel the violence in the air. Storm's gathering. Need to talk to Krisha and Bangar before things get out of hand. Meet me at Bangar's office. Probably better if it comes from the both of us. Don't worry about me. I'll go look for Jory. Find my bow.
I feel like we should worry about Bram. After all, like, you know, we are at a jail where he got put in jail. All right, so let's go link up with Ritlock to talk to Bangar to try and like calm things down. No issues with like that. You know, like conceptually how that plays into the story. I think the story gets better in Icebrood Saga than you know it has been up until this point. So I do appreciate it. The masteries throughout Icebrood Saga are kind of trash, but I think the story gets better. In fact, they're real trash, to be honest. So I do appreciate like what Icebrood Saga does bring to the table in that regard. I gotta remember how to get to Bangar's office here. Yes. Why are we the person to like convince Bangar of this? Not 100% certain, but you know, whatever. I guess we'll find out here in a second. Won't we? As a reminder, these two had a kid together. Like, they have history.
They would have killed him if Brimstone hadn't stepped in.
What's going on in there?
A difference of opinion.
Humans. So fragile. Sometimes we forget.
You have a problem with my people, you take it up with me. You don't send your thugs to rough them up.
I think you overestimate my influence, Elmora.
The floor is yours.
Great.
So also, as a reminder, Bangar and Ritlock like kind of hate each other. And so, besides the fact that Ritlock and Krisha have history as like mates or however we package that with Char, there's also the issue of like, so it's almost like a little bit of a triangle here. Although there's not really a suggestion that Bangar and Krisha are involved. There's like, you know, competition here and a former relationship here and a professional relationship there. So.
I thought I said alone. Hearing some old growls and young voices out there, sir.
We're concerned.
Not your problem. Or his anymore. They're excited. That speech really riled them up. Then it's doing its job.
I've heard it too. Your people are angry. Scared, maybe.
Why wouldn't they be? Your dragon...
Marine's just part of it, Kree. You said it yourself. Krauk's gone. Now nobody knows where to point their weapons.
Imperator, you have the perfect platform. Remind the legions that the other races aren't your enemies.
If it's not an Elder Dragon, it's something else. Ghosts. Human separatists. You're too young to remember, but our allies used to hunt us like animals, trimmed armor with our fur, wore our horns on helmets.
That was a long time ago.
Easy for you to say. With an Elder Dragon at your command, who would stand against you?
She's not at
Nobody's gonna break that treaty unless you break it first.
Ritlock.
A little fear's healthy. Keeps us sharp. Keeps us safe. Not if it turns. Let me look into it. I care about our people. Our future. So much you never show your face. I'm here now. Nobody wants you here, Cub. You're the one who ordered me here. Sentimentality. For a second, I forgot what you really are. Your tribune. My disappointment. Good thing your cub had me for a father. Look whose fangs finally came in. Go ahead. Be Imperator. All you gotta do is rip out my throat. Don't want it. Don't want anything from you. Told you this would happen.
You wanted this to happen. You made it happen.
Dismissed. I gotta know, which one's harder for you to keep in line? Ritlock or the dragon?
He's in good standing with the other legions. He could be your eyes, your ears.
I'd have skin him myself. I don't need to wait around for his buddy Thackeray to do it for me. You can show yourself out.
Okay, maybe I will. Thanks for your time, though, Bangar. So this is a really good example. Like, one of the things that makes this story good when compared to like what they had done up until this point is it's at least a little bit more mature, and takes itself a little bit more seriously and like is a little bit darker. And that's part of the reason. So to come back to like yesterday's announcement of the new expansion here in June of 2023, which will be the expansion will be coming out late August 2023. It looks the same. It looks like darker and maybe takes itself a little bit more seriously. Man, we need that. Man, do we need that in this story. And we got some of it with Icebrood Saga, and then it got lost.
Me up in there.
Char closed ranks when pushed into unfamiliar territory. You know this.
If Bangar doesn't address what's happening,
Either bring me evidence of a credible threat, or find some other way to make yourselves useful. I'll talk to Bangar after he's had some time to cool off. Lay low until then.
Just like old times.
if he hates you so much, how are you still a Tribune?
Sentimentality.
You're not exactly close.
Not for a long time. When Kree and I were cubs. I don't like it here. Too many memories. She always wondered what he'd do without a war to fight. Guess now we get to find out.
He wouldn't jeopardize a treaty.
Not on purpose. He doesn't have the support. Or the firepower. Surprised he finally agreed to a truce with Flame. Krisha's been banging that drum for years. Her sire was a high-ranking shaman. Dam fled their legion so her cub could be raised somewhere safe. Bangar took them in, put Krisha through R for R. But she never forgot where she came from, or who they left behind.
Had patrol on the northern border 2 nights ago. Can't say I'm a fan of this sudden cold snap.
Me neither. Snow does funny things to the silence up there.
Right? Even in the middle of an empty field, it felt like someone was watching me.
So all this stuff that's presented in this prologue is relevant to Icebrood Saga as we go forward. Like, every little bit of it.
Look who it is. Ritlock Brimstone and the great commander of dragons and lesser races.
Heard the Imperator could use a new Tribune.
Or 2.
Walk away.
Where's the fun in that?
Alright.
I'll break you down.
I think there's an achievement for killing all these dudes in like a certain amount of time. I guess we'll find out here in a second. Because we should be able to do it. Yeah, there we go.
Try to warn you. You want a promotion, you gotta earn it.
Commander, Ephraim and I need to speak with you as soon as you're able.
So much for lying low. Be right over.
You go ahead. I'll deal with these.
So this story must have like a tremendously different feel if you're Char. And I've never played through it on Char. I'm not suggesting that they have different lines, like different dialogue and stuff, because I strongly doubt they do. They don't do that very often. They do it from time to time, but very rarely. I'm not expecting it here, but if you're the type to like get into the story and like kind of a pseudo immersive type, where you at least like have some interest in how it impacts the commander and stuff.
I am a merchant, thank you, and I am unloading my wares to sell, obviously.
Yeah, well, you're taking up space that a Char vendor could have used.
I was invited to this congregation.
Should have reconsidered.
Yeah, I think it would feel very different if you were Char, and I think that would be really cool. Yeah, maybe one of these days I'll play it through on a Char just to see, but honestly, probably not, because I've played through this numerous times. We'll see. I don't know. And now that there's going to be new content turning out like slightly faster, everyone makes it out like it's like way faster. I don't know that that's really the case. I mean, we always expected like 3-month turns with Living World. They didn't always deliver, but that was like always kind of the general understanding or hope, is that it would be 3-month releases with Living World. So I don't know why like the mini expansions are being hailed as like faster content. That's confusing.
Coming here was a mistake.
Don't make any hasty decisions. Please. For their sake.
Casimir, what's going on?
Renegades. Here.
We don't know that yet.
Extremists recruiting straight out of the Farah. Who else could it be?
The Cubs are telling stories. Older Char floating around, testing loyalties, asking if they're ready.
Ready for what?
Wouldn't say. Someone should take this to Bangar.
He won't listen. Ritlock and I already tried.
You knew?
No. But a Vigil soldier was almost killed, and Malice says the renegades are getting bolder. It makes sense.
If Bangar won't listen, what about Krisha?
We need evidence. Something definitive.
You'd need to ask around. Find out what people know. And the two of you, well, you're not Char. I won't be of much help either.
Same with Ritlock. Bangar's got it out for him. Other Char smell blood in the water.
Then one of us will just have to become somebody else, Commander.
An illusion? What are you thinking?
Someone with a good reputation. Likeable. The embodiment of traditional Char ideals.
Steelcatcher. You could snip around Bloodkeep as you please.
Let me know when you're ready. The disguise won't take more than a moment.
All right. Well, it's an idea. So, like, I think if you were actually going to do like some kind of undercover thing where you're posing as someone else, you might not choose someone so prominent. But okay.
You have his eyes.
Well, I'd hope so.
No, Ritlock's.
Right, Ritlock. Ritlock, can you hear me?
Ryland? How did you...
This is the commander. Casimir worked up an illusion for me. Seemed like the best way to get the information we need.
You sound just like him.
That's the idea. Can you find him? Let him in on what we're doing? Maybe he can help.
If he even wants to see me, I'll try.
What's he like? Any advice?
Don't know him. Not as well as I should. Sorry. My daughter said she was approached at the Farah. You might start there.
So a couple of interesting things. One, coincidentally, here in chat, it's actually very interesting. Someone actually said, not gonna lie, I feel like I should only command here as the Char. It just hits different. And that is the commander on the map saying that. So I'm apparently not the only one who thinks that like this map is like really like Char centric, and probably does feel very different as a Char. And then I did note, much like when we were posing as Archon and Beru, like the same thing happens here, where if we take like a good look at us, especially from the front here, you can kind of see the reflection of Ryland there. So same, obviously same effect, and that's what they're trying to show, and it works the same. Good stuff. All right, so is there a separatist thing happening here, or a renegade thing happening here? I think separatists were the humans and renegades were the char. But under any circumstances, is there dissension? Are we getting all are we gonna just march into Rostov on Don? I don't know. Let's find out what's going on here. It this is like another thing, like much like what I've been talking about, where it's really good. I mean, it's just Icebrood Saga in terms of storytelling starts out so good, and this was really interesting because for me when I was doing my first playthrough ever on this, I was 100% convinced at this point in the story playthrough that like this was the direction we were going, that like the separatists and the renegades were gonna start the war again. I was very intrigued by it.
Look at you. At ease. I have some questions.
So, Primus Sparbreaker here. So this is kind of like, remember like a Game of Thrones when you got like Mormont up on the wall and he's like this old grizzled dude and he's teaching the younger ones, although he wasn't actually the one training them, it was the other guy. But you get the idea, like you have like this old master at arms here who trains the young cubs and stuff. And that's what Primus Sparbreaker is here, right? So not sure how much help I'll be. I think the years are finally getting to me. My senses and my mind aren't what they used to be. So I don't want to do the hard thing with Ryland. I don't think that's his thing. I also would like to think that he has enough respect not to just call this guy old man. So let's say only your blade's sharper than your mind, Primus. I trust both.
I know every cub that's come up through this Farrar. Now soldiers I don't recognize are walking around in our colors. They seem interested. Thought they might be parents looking in, wondering. Happens more than anyone admits.
What did they look like?
One of them had white fur, rusty spots, horns like scimitars, missing an eye. Might try the mess hall or the bar. His friends needed to fuel up.
All right, so let's find this guy, this one-eyed char, and see if we can find out what kind of shenanigans are afoot here. Because that's bad, right? Like a threat to, and I really like that. Again, like the idea. I'm gonna keep harping on it because like they were never able to tell a good story up until suddenly like they started telling a good story. How insidious is that to like target the children, and yet it is a even here real life, it is a well-established mechanism for turning an entire population base is to target the children. So this is nothing strange, right?
They'll take everything we got.
Always have. Well, he's lucky Ruinbringer didn't have you execute him right there.
We might still try.
What would you do? If he gave you the order, who would you choose?
Don't see anyone matching the description the Primus gave me. But there's Krisha. Gridlock, you know her best. Should I tell her what we're up to now? Or later?
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Your call, Commander.
All right, we are most certainly not going to. There's really I don't see the benefit in that. Like even if she supports what we're doing, like why would we take that risk? She can't actually do anything to help us. So let's go ahead and we'll call Ritlock back.
She's got enough to worry about without us putting this burden on her. We'll find the renegades, bring them to the brig, then we'll tell Krisha everything.
Anyone else you can ask if they've seen something?
There's a guard at the door.
Perfect.
Okay. Hey, buddy. What's his name? Guard Brokenstone. You see anything weird?
Soldier, I'm looking for a char with white fur, rusty spots, missing an eye. I've seen him. Left a few minutes ago with some friends. Said something about paying that Asura a visit.
Which Asura?
The one that's been helping us with our bug problems up by the farms. Came in with brimstone.
Gorik, come in. You have trouble en route. Gorik!
Commander?
Yes, it's me. How did you...
I asked you to keep the channel clear, remember? I hear everything.
Where are you?
Some kind of library, or what passes for one around here. No scientific papers anywhere. Just a bunch of maps and books on warfare. Ugh. Listen to this. One Char, One Future by Valen Scribe Cutter. Riveting.
That's not the library. That's the war room. Down the hall from Bangar's office.
I was, encouraged to come here by some char. Then they confiscated my datapad.
Why didn't you call us?
Maybe because I was being escorted by a pair of overgrown throw rugs.
The hell is that? Which one of you idiots forgot to search him?
Hey! No, that's mine!
Smash it. Gorik! Go!
I am going. This sir is in trouble too. We already seen that once though, didn't we? Alright, so poor Gorik in all kinds of trouble because he's getting picked on by these char. So all the races in this is kind of, I've mentioned this before, but like all the races in Tyria are like kind of racist. Like and I guess that's what I think that's how ArenaNet wanted to be, is just kind of, it adds to the tension, right? And the tension's good for video games. It's just funny that, you know, for a studio that's like so staunchly opposed to the negative in people, they highlight the negative in people to make their game more engaging.
Orders are to stay put. Keep an eye on things here. Now's not the right time. He still needs to even the odds.
Thought for sure that datapad would have intel on their dragon, but it's just...
Drawings of dead spiders. Hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Why are they so detailed?
If you're interested in my post-mortem research on Lubinella cadentis, I'd be more than happy to...
Shove it, rat.
Ow!
The Asura do kind of look like rats, right? Hey, Shadowspire. I have business in there. Open the door, soldier. You can believe I outrank whoever gave you that order. What if we don't? Should we just kick open the door? Kick open the door. You're wasting my time, jerk. Here he is, back here in the corner.
What's going on in here? Sir?
Thought you were supposed to be leading the expedition with Imperator Ruinbringer.
Expedition? Who told you that?
You did.
Something funny? Sorry. Forgot you dragged that Norn under the table. No wonder he doesn't remember.
Everything is in place. The others are already headed to the rendezvous point, but you should hurry. Ruinbringer won't wait. Not even for you. We'll take care of the Asura.
Oh, thank goodness. Wait, no!
Yeah. Alright, so we can kind of like this would be an overreaction, right? Like if we're going to continue our ruse, we need to play it cool.
No. I'll do it myself. Come on, rat. Give me that datapad too.
Oh, apparently there's an achievement for that. Alright, that's a good name, Ulysses. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, we got Gorik. Get out of here, Gorik. Let's go. Before you do something to blow both of our covers. Well, you don't have a cover. Don't blow my cover. Next time I tell you to open a door, open it.
Thanks, Commander. That kind of situation is well beyond the scope of my degree.
Just a bit. Are you alright?
They kept asking me about Aurene, her weaknesses. If I thought she could kill another Elder Dragon after Kralkatorrik.
Go find Kaz. She'll protect you. I need to let Krisha know what happened here.
And thanks for remembering the datapad. You have no idea how long it took to illustrate those specimens.
Gorik, go.
Alright. Well, at least Gorik's safe. So, we still don't know what's going on, right? But we do have a hint because apparently Ryland is not supposed to be here. He is with Bangar leading an expedition. What does that mean? And at this point in the story... wait, where is she actually? Is she way back over here? She is. Okay. At this point in the story, on my first playthrough, you know, I was still 100% convinced that what that probably meant was that that they were on their way to like link up with, you know, like separatists and renegades and whatever the case may be. I don't know that the separatists and renegades would necessarily collaborate together because they hate, you know, their whole thing is like they hate the other race. I'm using them interchangeably because I think the story's like a little confusing where they talk about separatists, but they talk about Char, and as I recall, the humans are separatists and the Char are renegades. So there's a little bit of confusion there, and thus I'm using them interchangeably when I talk about this. Presumably they would be talking about renegades.
Yeah. Ritlock. I think I know where Ryland is. and I think he's...
Commander, Ruinbringer is on the move. Malice's spies say he's slipped away, headed for the mountains west of the Blood Keep. Looks like several dozen warbands have done the same.
Several dozen.
Across legions, all heavily armed. Ridlock's son is with them.
What?
It gets worse. They're working with the renegades. I'm on my way to tell Krisha.
She's gone too. Went after Bangar, and she looked worried. You can probably catch her if you hurry.
I'll meet you at the gateway to the pass, Commander.
On my way. Jory, round up Bram and the other Imperators. I'll let you know where to meet us.
Okie dokie. Alright, so we're on our way to find Krisha. Krisha's not where we were expecting her to be. So let's hightail it over to this Vista. And then get our Vista. Then we'll go find Krisha and find out what's going on with... Oh, and look, that was a daily. What fun. Oh, yeah, because this counts as Ascalon. Yeah, so what's going on? So the commander is also still under the impression that this is about renegades. Or I think she said separatists again. They're working with... Oh, no, she said renegades this time. Okay. Yes, makes more sense.
Into play. They're pushing his hate for other races, building support for something big.
Did Bangar tell you where he was going?
He's still our Imperator. I'm not comfortable with a bunch of armed fighters chasing after him.
Well, that's a no.
He said he was holding a rally for his closest supporters. Ryland...
Can I at least assume stopping your cub is something you can both agree on?
Come on, Kree.
Let's go.
All right, well, let's go. Yeah, let's do that. So what is going on here? Let's find out.
Serious storm blowing in. They don't usually come down this far from the mountains.
The cold's only going to slow us down.
Agreed. And that's actually a mechanic in this story. Now, this is a strike mission as well. I don't generally get way into strike missions. I've done this one once, I believe.
Any idea where Bangar might be headed?
This pass just leads up into the Shiver Peaks. Vigil supply route.
Now you know how it feels.
What?
Getting cut out, axed from a circle of trust, just like that. What did you do? What did you say?
I don't know.
Well, that's very touching. Very emotional. But, while I make light of it, still better than, anything we saw in Season 3 or Season 4, right?
Most suicidal, more like.
Not just Blood Legion either. Warbands from Ash, Iron, Flame.
Always had charisma. I'll give him that.
Ooh, falling ice. Alright, we'll have to keep an eye out for that as we move forward.
That doesn't sound good.
Look out! Everyone
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, must have been the weight of all that snow.
Keep moving.
Alright, well, I'm trying to keep moving, Krisha, but I'm rooted in place until your dialogue's finished.
Are those elementals trapped in the ice?
They used to
like
come
that
down
right
from
there.
the mountain sometimes, when we were still in the
I
Farage.
remember.
Just like old times.
That's like a pretty big elemental, right? For that to be its, mitt? Do elementals have mitts? Sure.
Those are still warm. Bangar's followers must have staged here before heading further up. Jory, can you hear me? We're heading up the canyon. How far are you behind us?
I didn't understand. Where are you?
Interference from the storm.
We should get this fire going. Signal our location to the others.
I'll do it, but be ready. I can feel the elementals. They've already started to thaw.
Alright, so remember, Krisha's original origins, as we found out earlier in this story, are as Flame Legion. As a cub, she was part of the Flame Legion. Or rather, her family was, right? Her mom and dad was, and then her mom left to provide her with, like, a better life, like more security and so forth. So, apparently she has retained that ability, that ability to, you know, do, like, whatever fire magic it is the Flame Legion has.
Whatever your legion, your charm first.
Bangar.
We're getting close.
We're the chosen few. The ones brave enough to see the truth of where we stand today.
That's pretty,
Sounded like Iron Legion explosives. Come on.
So that's pretty well written, right? In the sense that it's representative of a very real thing, which is this idea that certain leadership figures have had in the past. This idea that, like, your prejudice actually... I keep interrupting Banger. This idea that your prejudice actually means that you're the one who sees things that others don't. Like the people who aren't prejudiced just don't get it or something. All right.
Who can we count on to put our people first? Only us. Only John.
Now, surely there's no, like...
That's why I'm calling for a new day to raise up our kind.
You know, a lot of historical documentation they could pull from for, you know, creating Bangar's speech here. And they should. If they want to write good story, that's the kind of stuff they should be doing. Whether or not they did, I don't know. But that's the kind of stuff you should be doing if you want to write like a compelling, realistic, and dark story. Not necessarily realistic like hey look, a realistic Char, but realistic in terms of behaviors and emotions. Pull from things that are in fact real. And like, you know, World War II speeches or other even speeches from current leaders, I'm not saying Russia or China, but, you know, if you were to say that, I wouldn't argue, could in fact give you perspective for something like this.
Keep us down. And you know what they have on their side? An elder dragon.
And Brand's bow.
I know this much. Let him hold the upper hand. Sooner or later, they'll play it. You willing to let that happen? You want someone else to dictate our future? Then it's time to even the odds. Let's go get ourselves a dragon!
He can't hear you.
Oh no, Ryland.
Wait, I feel...
Behind us. Elemental?
That's an ice
Who
construct.
cares? We gotta go after Ryland and Bangar.
Gridlock, if that thing gets down to the keep and the Farrar...
Damn it!
Alright. And this is, in the strike mission, the same boss. Now, obviously, this should not be perceived as like a direct duplication, but, you know, fundamentally, same thing.
I'll bring you down. Time to do some real damage. getting worse. We need to get out of here.
All right. So this is kind of a cool thing. We know that we can't survive out here in the cold. Ooh, we're not. Ooh, buddy, are we gonna make it to this first torch? We're having a hard time. So we get by these torches, and then we can regen because they're keeping us warm. Outside of these torches, we're gonna be in a bad way. There is an achievement for like hustling down to the bottom of the mountain. We're not going to like make that because I got off to a bad start, and also I believe there are like some tricks to it, tricks which like this is the kind of thing that you would probably, I guess, need to practice, unless I don't know, unless you're like particularly slick or you have some like swiftness and stuff. Or pretty quick. I think we already missed the achievement, so obviously you got to be pretty quick about it. But not important. We're not here for the achievements. We're here to find Marjorie and Bram and these other imperators.
Where's Bangar?
Took his followers deeper into the Shiver Peaks. With your bow.
What? No. Ryland tricked me?
He's not himself. He's being played, just like the rest of them.
He said he was going after a dragon. We need to find Aureen. Warn her.
Not Aureen.
You gotta be kidding me. He thinks he can...
Even the odds.
Bangar wants his own Elder Dragon.
That's a suicide mission.
Knew he was up to something. Never thought he'd use the party to poach our soldiers, though.
Renegades have been working that angle for a while. On Bangar's orders, apparently.
I should have seen it. He just needed all the legions in the same place at the same time. Ephraim.
No one's blaming you. If he's really going after Jormag...
Soon as we find a way through the storm, we'll pick up the trail. And if Bangar can't be reasoned with, maybe Ryland can.
Oh, Ryland.
We'll get him back, Ridlock. I promise.
Another personal victory.
There goes the commander, always making promises. Commander, what happens when you make a promise you can't keep? You know, in my line of work, you don't make promises unless you know you can keep them, because it's costly when you mess that up. All right, so we get a chance to talk to a whole bunch of people here and get their feedback on the situation. So I guess we'll talk to all of them. Let's start with Marjorie. Marjorie, as the only other human here, what are your thoughts? It's bigger than just some char politics. Yeah, it is, apparently. There are vendors here from all over. Word will spread. An imperator leading renegades is just fuel for the separatist fire. So here, good. You know, again, they do a good job of separating the two. It's unfortunate it was confusing earlier, but you know, very clarified there. I guess it's too much to hope that the snow will slow down the gossip. Yeah, I don't think it will. Casimir could debrief Logan on what's happened here. He'll be able to keep the more volatile human factions calm while we go after Bangar. Yeah, that's good. Because, you know, one side gets wacky, it's going to pull the other side in, right? See if Malice, you know, can share information with each other with Logan. We'll have to work together again, humans and Char and everyone else, to make sure this powder keg doesn't explode. Yeah, we don't want that, right? Bram, we don't want that, right? Oh, he wants to talk about the bow, and of course he does. So remember, that's actually Air's bow, and then he took it, and it was imbued during Season 3. It was imbued with magical powers. That's how he was able to crack the tooth of Jormag. But now, he has lost his bow. When he got drunk, it was snuck away from him, and apparently by Ryland. Was it the only reason Ryland was talking to me? Probably. Yeah, I feel like yes. Forget about Ryland. We still need you. What can you tell me about Jormag? Alright, so let's do this one. You know why? Because remember, when Bram broke away from us for a while and was doing his own thing, he was actually going after Jormag, right? So let's acknowledge, let's give him credit for some of the things he's done and treat him like the subject matter expert on Jormag. I like that. My guild and I, we tried to take back the Northern homelands. Thought my bow would be able to would be able to take Jormag down, but I never got the chance. Never got the chance because Balthazar essentially put Jormag back, like set him back in the process of gaining power. Where's your guild now? I left them back in the Shiver Peaks at the nearest vigil camp. They weren't happy with me. Well, I mean, yeah. So we're not gonna go back and beat all that up. But like the fact that they wrote it to where Bram just comes running back to us and stuff, and kind of abandons his guildmates, like that is really unfortunate, right? We're headed up that way. Maybe your guild can help us track down Bangar. Maybe. I'm sure it's not as bad as you're making it sound. Well, that's a dumb thing to say, Commander. Like, don't you hate that when like something is a problem? And someone's like, oh, it's not that bad. Well, it's not your problem. So go to hell. Redlock. I knew Bangar had a problem with me, but Krisha, it's not like him to leave her behind. I think Krisha would agree. Something feels off. We can't underestimate Bangar, Commander. He's had wild ideas before, and they've worked. He's built a military career out of it. You think he could succeed in harnessing Jormag's power? You kidding? He's bit off way more than he could chew, but he's not above forcing others to swallow it. Well, that's a dangerous way of thinking, but I think it's a good synopsis of what Bangar's up to, right? You heard him. This is an arms race, and he's feeling like a cornered animal. We don't need Bangar as an enemy, and in fact, as we recall, the commander wasn't pursuing Bangar as an enemy. But, if you're the only country with nukes, other countries are going to try and get nukes, right? Not that that happened once upon a time, but basically that happened. So we don't need Bangar as an enemy. Can't choose who your enemies are. Hey, that's on point, right? Alright, calm down, Ritlock. I know you want to punch him in the mouth. You did recently punch him in the mouth, and we look forward to it happening again, but it's not going to happen in this episode. Krisha. Constructs don't create themselves. Powerful shamans do. And Flame Legion doesn't work with ice. There's more going on here than we know. Yeah, so none of the Char, in theory, should have been able to make that construct, right? Do you think Bangar's working with someone beside the Renegades? Yeah, let's roll with that one. It's not what I said. When we find Bangar, I'll get a straight answer. There's been too much speculation already. Fair. That is fair, right? But, in the lack of solid information, then you hypothesize, right? After all you've heard, do you still think Bangar's innocent? I think he's been a Legion Imperator for longer than either of us has been alive. He's always done what he thought best for us, and we've prospered. That's a fact. Okay. That is an excuse that people use to defend others who abuse power, but okay. He's leading a band of renegades. That's also a fact. Could be that the renegades have fed him faulty intel. I need answers, but he's my imperator. So that is consistent with like the Char military kind of culture, right? This concept of loyalty is incredibly important, so I like it. But maybe he's not the leader you thought he was. Doesn't make him a villain. Also fair. Krisha got good dialogue there. Ephraim, what are your thoughts? Didn't think penance would be easy, but I never expected this. So what will you do? I don't like this. Like, why are we like throwing a bunch of blame on Flame Legion? Flame blame? We don't need to play the flame blame game. And I don't know. Like, why are we gonna like volunteer Ephraim to be a coward? So let's just ask him. What are you gonna do, Ephraim? As far as he's concerned, the truce still holds. He being Ephraim. As far as I'm concerned, the truce still holds. I'll stay here, lend Krisha a hand where I can. This isn't the time to hide or be silent. It's time to be decisive. I'm with you 100%, Ephraim. Word of advice, hate's not a one Legion problem. It spreads quiet and quick. Starts to seem reasonable to otherwise rational minds. Isn't that the truth? So true. If you're around for the 1930s, you might have seen it. I don't know. Smodor. Don't worry, Commander. I have experience putting down renegades. Don't see why Bangar and his rabble of traitors should be any different. So, we will get plenty more of Smodor just being kind of like a blunt tool going forward in Icebrood Saga. But at this point, like, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm on board, man. Easy solution, right? Punch him in the throat. Let's, I don't even want to discourage it at this point. Both of these discourage, like him saying, hey, let's just go punch throats. At this point, I'm on board with punching throats. Will Bangar's hand in this Renegade Rebirth set the Ebonhawk Treaty back? Deals I broker don't fail. I'll do what I've always done. Mitigate Bangar's mess and prepare for the future. Yeah, so it was Smodor who had a hand in that. I think we have indications that maybe he wasn't quite as influential as he thought, or as people like to make him out to be, but he did have a hand in that, so kudos to him on that. Malice. As I said, Kralkatorik's death left a void to be filled by fear of the next threat. Well, isn't that always the way? And so the Char who were saying, like, we need a foe to maintain our edge, like, there's a lot of fact in that. If you want your military to maintain their edge, you need them to be preparing for something. A military who's told, hey, we have no foes and everyone can just chill, is a weak military, a complacent military. So, yes, Malice, but yeah, Bangar was enough of a strategist to take advantage of that fear. Okay, but I don't know. I'm almost with Bangar on this one particular point. What do you suggest we do, Malice? Step lightly until we can be sure to avoid the landmines Bangar and his renegades have planted. Alright, so she's advocating, like, hey, let's be strategic. I like it. What are the odds that he's left saboteurs and sleeper agents behind? Pretty high. Ferreting them out of all Legion ranks must be a priority. Well, so if espionage is your thing, then counterintelligence should be your thing too. So Malice, that's all you. And how Krisha responds may determine the future of the Char. She was Bangar's head of security. Can we still trust her? Well, she's standing right there, Commander. But okay. Krisha's just stubborn as every high-ranking blood officer, but with more intelligence than most. Now that her eyes have been forced open, I think she'll make the right calls. I hope so. All right, so we've had a chance to talk to all these folks, and we got a pretty solid idea of what's going on here, right? Bangar, in no, I'm not gonna scout the pass, right? Oh, so much like dialogue here, so much voice acting, a lot of noise. Can we just like come over here and kick it? Yes, we can. All right, so as we wrap this episode up, like, where are we at? So Bangar has intentionally and effectively driven this divisive wedge in among the Char in order to provoke anxiety. Man, do I want to open our mail, by the way? I feel like I don't. Provoke this anxiety and thus get them to kind of unite on his side. And he really has this kind of personal, selfish goal. He's using them to advance his goal of getting his own Elder Dragon, and he has his eyes on Jormak. Now, up until, up through the story in Guild Wars 2, up until this point, like, that seems crazy, right? That he's just gonna, like we have Areen, he's gonna take Jormak. That can and should just feel bananas. But the story is going to kind of give us an idea of how he plans to go about that. So as we move forward in Icebrood Saga, that's going to be one of the things that we kind of unearth is how it is that he believes is possible. And it's interesting stuff. So when we pick it up next time, which honestly is either be Friday night or this weekend, and I'm a good week ahead in videos right now anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant. But when we move forward, we're going to find out more about Bangar's plans, and we're going to head into the Shiver Peaks, further into the Shiver Peaks, in pursuit of Bangar, only to discover that there's a whole lot more going on. So I look forward to seeing you then, and until then, I hope you enjoy your week. I hope things go well for you. Thank you.